jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Salute everyone that's in the building. WCS is back at it on deck. You already know, first in the building, Tyrese is on deck. What up with it? Big shout out to the supporters as always. We're going to talk about the Terrence Crawford interview with the Breakfast Club. It's a big deal because we already know everything dealing with this fight that's attached, that's linked to this fight is a big deal, y'all. So recently, you already know from recent events, right, that on the 13th to 14th kicked off the 2-date press tour. We got that out the way. The fight is official. Both fighters have, made it to the West and the East Coast in that order. And we heard what the fighters had to say. Shout out to Bill's Boot Camp on deck. We heard what the fighters had to say. It was much anticipated. People was very eager to hear and see the fighters in person. And we got that. Kudos, to PBC for, being able to put this fight on versus what we went through last year. We went through a lot last year. All the finger pointing, the verbal sparring, all the contentiousness that has played out on the YTC. We've heard it damn near everything we need to hear in this case, right? But as the fight is now being officially announced, there are duties that need to be taken care of. And of course, Bud Crawford is leading the way with promoting this fight. I remember way back when heavy lifting was an actual term that these individuals kept on saying that Spence was doing. And in this case, Bud Crawford is the one who's leading the way, promoting the fight. Errol Spence was supposed to be at the Breakfast Club, but somehow, some way he said, or that they mentioned on the Breakfast Club, that his flight was delayed or whatever the case. He didn't make it. Now, there's many reasons what I can assume the reason why he didn't make it, probably because he needed to go back and get in camp. But hey, I'm not here to speak on that in a way to take reflection off what Bud Crawford has going on right now. He's being a leader. He's out here freaking leading the leading the fight, the fight promo, getting people involved, giving his side to, all the hard questions that was asked during this interview. And he pretty much KO'd Charlemagne the God. I'm saying? Not in a physical sense, but a literal sense. Because, Charlemagne has been on record saying that he had Errol over Terrence. So in this particular case, he had the opportunity to do a face-to-face and say the things that he said earlier. And also voice whatever producer notes that he was presented with. He definitely did his homework, because it's the same shit you hear on the YTC. It's the same shit that they was asking, and what they were saying, the same debates, the same everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, same shit. So let's get to this audio. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to get to this audio and try to listen to certain things that was being said in this interview. And shout out to the Breakfast Club. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hit the like button. I appreciate you.
I remember. Yeah. I don't forget.
I got Earl. Yeah. I do got Earl. Yeah. Not because you're not great. I just think, styles make fights. I think Earl got it.
Definitely.
You feel pressure going into this fight?
Not at all. This is my moment. Mm-hmm. This is my time. This is what I've been waiting for. And the world gonna see July 29th.
I always talk about, nowadays it feels like everybody wants to be undefeated, right? Does that put more pressure on you? Because I think Floyd kind of did it with his 50-0. But back then, you lose a fight, it was fine. All right, well, I'll see you in a rematch. And it was okay. It wasn't cool. But now it seems like when you lose a fight now, everybody's like, oh, it's washed.
Listen, you're going to hear a lot of snippets, I like to call them, that goes on social media banter every freaking day. The dialogue exchanges that you're hearing are pretty much the same thing that we discuss over here as content creators, media distributors, just social media freaking bloggers, so to speak. They pretty much repeat the same thing we've been talking about forever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just going to provide my input to the responses that Bud Crawford gave to the hard questions. I have to commend him. He maintained composure, which is extremely important. Maintain composure like a true professional. Because, Charlemagne the God, he was up there just basically being the antagonist and repeating shit that he was given as far as producer notes. That's all.
It's over.
I never felt any pressure. I put my O on the line numerous of times with whoever they put in front of me. I called out the best fighters in each division that I ever been in. Floyd have made it kind of hard for people to take a loss and keep going because so many people want to be like Floyd and so many people was attracted to Floyd and follow Floyd's career, and they felt as if you wasn't like Floyd, then you wasn't that guy, but people lose, people come back, mm-hmm. Styles make fights, like he said, mm-hmm. and things happen. So I never thought that a loss can define a fighter in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, because Floyd's one of the best to ever do it, but why just look at Floyd? Why people don't look at Ali, Lennox Lewis, all of these great fighters who have lost, Sugar Ray Leonard, like Tommy Hearns, they've all lost.
Because time and Ali and all those great fighters that came before us, they didn't have to deal with the politics. They didn't have to deal with social media slandering them and mm-hmm. doing this and doing that to impress people. So it's kind of different.
One thing I will say is that, a lot of those boxers back in the day had to deal with something that was much more unruly than politics, and that was racism. Corruption, people betting on the fight, fighters throwing fights, fighters regularity and frequency of their schedule was somewhat tainted by certain involvement with the mob and whoever else that was betting on it. You know what I'm saying? It never stopped. You take away the era and you transition into the tech world, you bring on the internet and everything else, and then you got to deal with a whole lot of other issue that just multiplies what was going on before without social media, and then you multiply with the internet and all that, much more faster ways, and to zoom in and make it that much more open for people to bet, and for it to be corrupt, for it to be a whole lot of other things that's going on with professional sports in general.
You feel like you don't get the respect that you deserve when it comes to a lot of these fights? Like even with Charlamagne saying he thinks Errol's gonna beat you. Like, do you feel like you're the underdog in a lot of this?
It's just boxing. I guess it's just boxing at the end of the day.
Don't back down now.
I'm not. I got Earl.
You're gonna lose.
definitely gonna lose. But do you feel like you don't get the respect that you deserve?
Always.
Why is that?
But how great I am. I look at.
He said he don't get the respect he deserves because of how great he is. You know what I'm saying? He just basically told Charlamagne that you can go for whoever you want. You can go for Errol, but you're gonna lose. That's the way he feels. The only reason I'm going through this interview because in a lot of ways people are feeling some type of way that these two aren't at each other's throat. And I always say that it seems like black fighters always got to tap dance, and we always got to be the most angriest people to show the outside world, or show the listeners, to show the fans, consumers. In order to sell something, we got to be the most cutthroat individuals. Like it's almost like a tribal freaking clash or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Who's the chief for this? Out of these two, who's the bigger, who's the more powerful, who's the more disrespectful fighter out of the two? But they've been pretty amicable, as I keep mentioning. People saying they on the buddy program. And if you hear anybody say that, that's what I just said. You know what I'm saying? I just phrased it as people acting like they on the buddy program because they're not going in each other's throat. The fight has been made already. The only thing left to do is the fact that these fighters got to fight July 29th. But I can tell you another reason, the only reason that Bud Crawford is doing what he do, because he want the fight to be successful. He want to go out here and talk it up. He want to have his face out there. You know what I'm saying? He's always sat a high on the pound for pound list than Spence. So why not continue to do what you do? You always been in the league. So continue to go out here and do what you do. That's all. Nothing changes.
All the great fighters that came before me, none of them got their respect until
Nelly content. What's good? NO on deck.
Retired.
What's good with it? Bruce Gas Boxing
Nobody
Jazz and
gave
more.
Floyd his respect until he retired.
What's good with it, OG?
Realized how great he was. A lot of people didn't give Ali his respect. A lot of people didn't give Roy Jones his respect until they lost or they retired.
Why the lost part?
I don't know, because I guess when one has lost or taken defeat to another great fighter, they feel as if this fighter is not invincible. So they can feel as if he's on their level now. Oh, well, we brought him down to earth. Now we can laugh at him. Now we can praise him for all the good things that he done.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Earl said your record was inflated. What does that word inflated mean?
Well, listen, he can say all those type of things, but when you look at who I fought and who he fought, and you look at what I done to him, it's no comparison.
So let's be clear, extremely lucid on what Terrence Crawford just said. You know how you have all these debates about resumes? See, what I like about what this black man is doing is that he's articulating himself. See, when they did that IG Live, they say the man was reading off flashcards. I wonder if he's reading off flashcards now. I wonder, in between him leaving the NYC presser, right, and going into this Breakfast Club interview, did they have him sitting in a freaking a chauffeur? What is a team van or transportation, studying and going over notes? It seems like he's very well able to articulate himself and deliver responses right away. You know, they was trying to say the man was stupid. But obviously, during this interview, he's giving you answers that make all the sense in the world. He's not doing it by disrespecting Errol. A lot of people want him to disrespect Errol, but they're not getting their wishes. These two guys have made a choice. You know what I'm saying? They have decided on a commitment to promote this the right way until fight week. Even though you only see Bud out there, I can tell you the reason why that is. Simply, Terrence feels that I'm not speaking for the team, but he has obviously been out here doing road work, and he's ahead of the ball. He is. He's ahead of the ball when it comes to this conditioning and fight camp. Like, once again, I'm just speculating. I'm just going off the pictures he put and his discipline in between fights. Errol, I believe he still has to get in there and do chop, chop, chop. He still has to go through and shed those pounds, and it's every day counts right now. Every day counts, and I want Spence to be able to drop that weight down so both of these fighters can step in there and settle the score. I don't want him dropping the belts on the scales. I don't want that. I want it to be both fighters contending for undisputed, all of them. I want both fighters. I don't want any weaknesses, no injuries. I don't want any freaking advantages. You know, when it comes to physical ailments and physical freaking disabilities or physical injuries, I want none of that. I want both of these fighters to be the healthiest they ever been going into a fight. Real talk. I don't want no excuses, bro. I don't want no excuses with this fight. But Crawford is doing a fantastic job in this interview, because they somehow, some way continue to think that he can't go to an interview and answer hard questions. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on, but we need some solace like this. We need some solace and somebody, you know, being intelligent and going in there being presented with piercing questions that some people just get up and lose their wits, start cussing and doing all that other shit, and that ain't happening right here.
Did Udis? I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Did he beat you in the amateurs? Your Guinness Udis?
Ugas? Yeah.
So Charlemagne the Gaunt said Yadina's Ugas. I don't know, he's trying to say eucalyptus or something. But early on, the way this man started out the blocks was just notes that he jotted down. Now, this is how this whole situation works. Like I try to explain to you all, it's always a good guy, bad guy situation. Obviously, Charlemagne the God has jotted down notes that he's heard over social media time and time again, and he wants to go and try to get a rise, try to get the energy level up, just try to provoke a nerve with Crawford. He's trying his best. He's talking about the amateurs, and the fight is already signed for him to face Spence. He's not going in there facing Yordenis Ugas. He's facing Spence, man. Errol Spence, the current reigning defending welterweight unified champion, bro. And you're asking him about Yordenis Ugas and the amateurs beating him. But yet, if you knew any better, you would look at Yordenis Ugas' career, look at his numbers, and then compare that. It's no comparison.
Yeah, he beat me in the amateurs.
And then Earl stopped him in the 10th round when they fought. So Yuga said there's no way you can beat Earl if Earl fights you the way he fought him. So does it matter if he beat someone who defeated you?
Never. Listen, you talking about a fight that happened when I was 18 years old. Mm-hmm. I was a little kid. I was a little boy. Mm-hmm.
So you see how he made light of Charlemagne the God, making light of Yordenis Ugas defeating Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford, current opponent Errol Spence Jr., having a victory over Yordenis Ugas in the professional ranks and stopping him last year, April 16. We was there to witness this. We absolutely seen it go down. However we want to know, however we want to assume why it went the way it did, it went down and Errol Spence got the stoppage, period. But once again, the calmness, the sung Freud, carefree type of responses is coming from a guy who I believe what he's talking about. And when they ask him, do he feel some type of way, headed to this fight, this and that? No, I'm ready. I'm ready. You heard what he said on ESPN First Take. I'm ready tomorrow. I mean, don't that get you hype? This man is up here acting like he's the one. He's the one. This is the biggest fight. He's the one, period. I'm calm, cool, collective. They always talk about in martial arts, how you find your center. You know what I'm saying? How you come one with yourself. That's what we see going on here. This man is out here, having an interview, and obviously Charlemagne the God have ulterior motives to get a reaction, a negative reaction. That's what he get paid to do.
That same little boy is no way, shape, form, fashion the same little boy. The grown man that I am today. Mm-hmm. When I fought Ugas, I probably had like 40 fights. Ugas probably had hundreds. Coming from Cuba, and they fighting all the international tournaments, national tournaments, all that. So he had more experience at the time. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't.
Did you just hear the admittance that Terrence Crawford just gave to the general public? He admitted that Yordenis Ugas had experience. He said he had hundreds, while he only had 40 something. So there was a difference in numbers and the volume and the reservoir of amateur experience between these fighters. And look, it takes a grown ass man to admit, yeah, he had more experience and he got the best of me. Let me explain to you. I was only 18 years old back then. And that was then. And we already know what has happened now. Period.
Base him beat me at 18 on a professional fight. Mm-hmm. We don't have no headgear on. We fighting with smaller gloves.
Facts.
We fighting longer rounds, longer minutes in the rounds. So it's a lot of things that goes into fighting an amateur fight and fighting a professional fight. So a lot of people say, oh, well, you lost to Ugas and this and that. Well, a lot of people lost to a lot of people in the amateurs, and look what happened in the professional rankings. A lot of people can say, oh, well, Terrence, you lost to this guy, you lost to that guy. Okay, well, all the guys that I lost to in the amateurs, compare their career in professional to my career in professional.
That's real. So what did you?
Charlemagne the God, his response, ASAP, he said, that's real. He had to acknowledge that was real. Just like I'm telling those out here that are on the other side, you have to acknowledge that it's real. It's never going anywhere. I try to explain to these people over and over again, in the sport of boxing, your achievements from the first time you accomplish something, whether it be a secondary title up to a super title, it transfers over as you continue to advance divisions in your professional career. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. If you go from division to division, which requires different weight limits, your achievements at that previous division doesn't go away. Even after you lose your title in your next division, they identify what your achievement was previously, and they let the people know. They let them know. So when they come up here and act like Terrence Crawford's career and his resume doesn't exist, that's just them using what God blessed them with. God blessed them to be the holders of selective amnesia. You know what I'm saying? He allowed them to be able to perform these ritual acts, you know what I'm saying, of stupidity, and ignore the fact of what the reality is. That this man has accomplished more than Errol Spence. We know that for a fact, though. You know what I'm saying? We don't need people clapping on the outside to concur. This is a fact. He's did more in his career. People can say, well, he fought better competition. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know goddamn well that this man should have been in 54 already. And as long as he's been in the welterweight division for as long as he has, why is he in his 30s? And he's finally coming into the frame with someone who is in his third division. Just let that ponder.
Learn from those losses that you were able to take in your professional career that has kept you undefeated.
Well, a lot of things. I learned how to cope with certain styles. I learned how to capitalize on the things that I was doing wrong. So you just go back to the drawing board and fix the problem that you had that led you to get the loss.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn from it. And I felt like I learned from all my losses, and I got stronger. I got wiser. I got more experience. And that led me to be the person that I am today in the professional ranking.
He said he got stronger, he got wiser. And I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the better interviews. That it seems like he's not in a rush, he's not under pressure, any of that. Like, even with the questions the trajectory of the questions that are being sent his way, he's still sustaining that calmness. You know what I'm saying? That carefree professionalism that's needed right now in such a fight of this magnitude. He's doing an astounding job. Excellent job. You know what I'm saying? People are not going to dissect this the way it's supposed to be, but that's what I'm there. That's my job. Don't worry about it. I'll get it. I get it for you. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a little bit.
Did you watch the fight between Spence and Ugas?
Of course.
And what did you think about it?
It was a good fight. Errol did good. Ugas did good. And it was a good fight.
Compliments. Sustaining professionalism. Compliments. Still, at that moment, he did not criticize Errol Spence one time. He has mentioned, or he will mention later on, when, he asked him something about this fight. But overall, he's pretty much saying, let me compliment Errol. He did great in that fight. Just like Errol Spence said, all Bud Crawford's, resume, he fought good fighters. I've been following him for a long time. They refuse to speak on that. These cats refuse to speak on the good that Errol Spence mentioned about Crawford and what Crawford has mentioned about Errol Spence. They don't want peace between these two men. They always try to pit them against each other. Every time you turn online, they saying something as if you heard them say it. They come up here and try to basically be deceptive and distort the actual narrative that was being presented as if one fighter is going at the other. No, the only person that's going at the fighters is the content creators that choose to do so. You know what I'm saying? They choose to create these false narratives, and they push them because they want people to be freaking attentive to the negativity. That's all. They want them to tune in, and they want them to they want them to gravitate to the negativity.
Now that fight was what, 2021?
I thought it was last year.
Have your facts straight.
Maybe it was
Envy.
2021. Now he hasn't fought in over a year.
22.
Does that give you the advantage or disadvantage? What's your thoughts on that?
21
look
ain't
at
a
that
motherfucking
like
year.
that. He came off a longer layoff prior to that. Been in a car accident, and he came back and he looked strong. He looked good. So I'm not banking on him not being in the ring for him to come rusty or anything. He's a professional.
Mm-hmm.
He know how to fight. So come fight night, he'll be ready just like I will.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that? Look, they talking about time out the ring. Envy tried to present the question, the trajectory of the poison arrow. The trajectory of the poison arrow was sent down range once again. And Terrence Crawford swiped that shit away. And he said, well, thinking back on it, he was out of the ring longer than that. He had the car accident, and other things, and he looked strong. He looked good. He kept it on a positive note. The sad thing about this entire, tandem that we have, two of the best pound for pound fighters, is that I say what I say, right? Right? I say what I say, but even I is not making light of this particular interview the way I could when it comes to Errol Spence, because I respect the fact on Terrence Crawford sustaining his professionalism. He's wearing that on his lapel. Real talk. He's being extremely on point, A1, with how he's answering these questions. And some people are going to try to say, well, he's forced. I don't think anybody's forcing him to do anything. They trash talk at the appropriate location, and now he's on radio, and he's giving people a professional response and saying, listen, you're going to support us or you aren't. I don't have to break down Errol Spence on the Breakfast Club just so y'all can come see me fight. No, come see me fight, because I'm going up against the other best welterweight, the unified champion. We're going to clash for all the crowns, for undisputed. And people always talking about, oh man, so and so shouldn't have said that. They shouldn't have said this. They got mental problems, all that. You have a sane individual up here and giving you educated responses, man, in the heat and the line of fire, bro. Educated responses. I'm gonna see how many people gonna talk about the positive shit, because I still hear them out there. They busy talking about people capping, people ain't telling the truth, they lying. They don't want no peace. They don't want no solidarity, man. They don't.
Better to be an independent promoter or to be assigned to one of these companies?
Well, in my situation, it's better for me to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
I get to control my own destiny. I get to control my own faith, and the rest is uphill for me now.
I don't understand why the promoters don't want to make the best fights. Like, this is the fight we all want to see. This is the fight that's going to make the money. So what kept them from just making this fight?
Well, politics. You got two sides that's powerhouses,
Mm-hmm.
and neither side want to give in to the other side.
Shout out to Pop
And
on deck.
business wise,
Jay McGill
is
on deck.
better for
Travis
me to
Bryan
do
on
business
deck. I see
in-house
you.
than
B.I.G.
outsource.
Shelton
And have to
on deck.
share. So it's kind of like a greed thing.
And how draining is it doing all these interviews and press things when you got a fight coming up and you got to train? How draining is that? Because you got to fly and go here. And I even know Errol was supposed to come up here this morning, but his flight was delayed. How draining is that physically and mentally for you?
Well, it's part of the game. As long as I get up early, I got to get up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Work out, come here, do this, do my other interviews, and hit the road, get back to training.
Mm-hmm.
Training never stops. We just got to alter it a little bit.
Do you have a rematch clause in the contract?
Yeah.
So this is where, Charlemagne continue to fires off. Listen, Charlemagne get paid to do what he does. He's been doing it for quite some time. I met the guy in person. I don't have anything against Charlemagne. You know what I'm saying? He is, in his position for a reason. He has experience and he knows what his duties consist of. So when he presented this rematch clause, once again, think about how Terrence Crawford is responding to these tough questions. These questions are meant to be antagonizing. You know what I'm saying? They're meant to get you agitated. They're meant to change your pulse. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're meant to do, fire you up. But look, listen to how he answered this shit now.
I mean, are you going to exercise it?
Who?
You,
No. Ain't no need. Ain't no need. He try to be slick.
Throw
He
that in
thought he
there.
had one.
But now I feel like this is going to be one of those moments in time where y'all do fight more than once. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy, but definitely at least twice. I think so.
Could be. Could be. Never know. Maybe something dramatic happened in the first fight where he don't want no rematch.
If that happens, let's say you win decisively, right? Let's say it happens. Would you retire?
I don't know. I don't think there's a need for me to retire right now when I want to fight Jamel Charlo.
Yeah. Why would you say retire?
I mean, because this is the fight. Like, this is the fight. This is the fight that if whoever wins, this is probably going to end up being the number one pound for pound in the sport, I would think, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
It will be.
Will be, yeah.
It will be.
So, I mean, like you want Charlo, so I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Have you seen the fight over the weekend with Mayweather and Gotti? What was your thoughts on that fight?
And you talk to him just about that and boxing and other things?
No. When me and Mayweather talk, it's more like, how you doing, how the family, how everything going, how you feeling, good, stay focused, stuff like that. Boxers, I can say my coach, I can say my brothers, I can say my friends. I take a lot from, a lot of people, because you can learn something from everybody, not just people that you think.
Big Balance and Boxing on deck. What's good with it? Go down in the building.
A bigger stage than you. So, if I can seek advice from anybody, I'll take it.
I always wonder when fighters get in the ring, do they take past fights with them, or do you just whatever happened in the old fights, you just leave them there? Like, is every fight a new thing?
For me, yeah, every fight is a new thing, and that's how I try to go in training camp with a clear head. My coaches, they train me to the best of my ability and make sure that if we had any mishaps or mess ups in a previous fight, that we capitalize on that and we fix the problem. And that's pretty much how we go into camp.
Always wanted to know when a boxer picks a fight, right? Any good boxers, they're gonna analyze your tape, analyze every fight that you do and watch you, because we all have, we're a habit, right? You have a habit of doing certain things. How much do you change to make sure that they don't study that habit?
Well, my thing is,
that's a good question for Bud Crawford. Reason being is, and a lot of people say they haven't seen his total cachet of weaponry that may be, useful in his boxing, but since it hasn't been broken, you only see what plays out in response to the opposition that is, giving him this offensive strategy that requires him to make adjustments and think, and then the results are what they are. We've seen it play out over and over again. The results are what they are, bro. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to make adjustments. You have a team there, but ultimately as the fighter, you still have to go in there and collect the data. You decipher what you want, filter out what you going to when you basically delegate it back to your opponent. You know what I'm saying? You assess it, you break it down, and then you resubmit. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. Everybody does not respond the same way.
I'm so versatile and elusive that I can capitalize on anything my opponent's ever done in the ring. And I think that's why I rate myself so higher than other fighters.
Mhm.
Because you can fix one problem, but the more the fight goes, I'm experienced enough to recognize another problem. So
You can fix one problem, but he's experienced enough to recognize another problem. So he's saying he's very well equipped when it comes to ring IQ to be able to first identify the problem and then know how to resolve it in a way that benefits him. If that person is in a rhythm and they're able to land certain things, well, he's basically saying, allow me to collect data once again. You know what I'm saying? Assess it, process it, and then redelegate it back to that person. Whether they know that it's been figured out or solved, I'm pretty sure a lot of them have seen that. Being that Crawford's, all his fights have been stoppages. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they have found out that, damn, he figured that out pretty good. His troubleshooting effort, is kind of transparent. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of transparent. Like some people see people taking punches to the face and they say, oh, don't worry about it. He's just breaking them down. He's getting tired. I don't think that's the kind of change up that Crawford's talking about. I don't think that's the way he collects data and come up and troubleshoot the formula. And then with all the evidence he has, he goes out and give the results that he wants to combat that. I think that's what he's all about. You know what I'm saying? Troubleshooting is everything. Brainstorming, you know what I'm saying? Problem solving is everything. But like I mentioned in the previous live, to do it while you are in a violent situation, while your entire mind, while you are basically handling an intense situation, you know what I'm saying? You are in an intense situation, an aggressive situation, and you need to find a way to get through it. Enough to the fact where you have to find, what your opponent's success is right now, and how are you going to combat that? How are you going to get your defensive response up to combat what he's been able to have a little success with offensively? And now you got to reverse it and turn it back on your opposition. So much to the fact that you start to break them down, not break them down to the point of recovery, but break them down and continue to break them down and to the point of conquering and earning a complete victory over them, whether it be decision or knockout. It really takes some damn intelligence to do this in the eye of the storm, in a physical contact sport, while your body is being attacked. You know what I'm saying? Why you have a dangerous opponent in front of you. You got to figure all this out on the fly. In between those 3 minutes, you have to prove to yourself, like, this is everything I was taught in training. Now I need to put it to work. Can I? Can I? Based off who I'm in the ring with, can I put this to work? Can I figure it out? Is my IQ high enough for me to troubleshoot? You know what I'm saying? Take the data that I've gotten and then resubmit. You know what I'm saying? Resubmit to your opposition. Resubmit. This is what I got from the data I collected from you. Let's see how you like this.
I think that's why I rate myself high as I do.
Who was your toughest opponent that you've had so far?
I like this. I like this honesty from Crawford.
Dude from Lithuania. I can't pronounce his name.
Velasquez.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The one they say might have knocked you down. I don't know if he was a slip.
Biggest.
Yeah.
I would say the hardest fight in my career, it would have to be between Igas and Gamboa.
Wow.
Gamboa.
Did you hear straight from the champ's mouth himself? He said his two toughest opposition was Igas Velasquez and Yorkis Gamboa, and he's about to explain why.
He was just so fast.
Gamboa.
And he was so small to where he was darting in and darting out, and he was hitting me and making me miss just by an inch. So it was kind of like I had to make.
What's going on,
adjustments,
Bud
and he
Crawford
was
Beats
making
Easy Route
adjustments, and I
Spence?
was
Salute
making
to you, bro.
adjustments, and it was just like it was a chess match, but it was a fast chess match, and he was getting the better of me because he was more experienced, but at the same time, he was more explosive. So I just had to, figure out the puzzle a little longer.
What stops you from being frustrated in that ring? Because most people, watching that fight would have probably been frustrated and probably would have, left the hand down, left the chin available. So what makes you not get frustrated and calm down and relaxes you? Because you see it all the time when you look at boxers in the ring, they're not listening to the coach. You could tell that their mind is on something else.
Yeah, your demeanor never changes.
It never changes at all.
Just like right now in this interview. It don't change. It don't change.
No, it's just, I think, like I said, the experience. I've seen it all. I've been in the ring with it all. And I know what to do. And I know what I have to do.
Y'all need to put that on the thumbnail. I know what to do. I know what I have to do. I'm just telling you. You might want to put that on the thumbnail because I am. I know what to do. I know what I have to do. I know what to do. I know what I have to do. I know what to do. I know what I have to do.
Higher than other fighters because you can fix one problem, but the more the fight goes, I'm experienced enough to recognize another problem. So I think that's why I rate myself high as I do. So when I get in those tough moments and those tough times and those tough rounds, I know keep doing what you're doing. It all playing out. You just got to stay true to yourself and fight your fight. If one thing ain't working, you got to resort to something else. Try something else. You can't just stick to the same thing. If it ain't working, then try something else.
Right.
You got 12 rounds to do it, and if you don't, then you'll be banging your head on the table like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I try this? You already getting hit. Might as well try to do something different.
But if you have a whole game plan that you worked on through training camp, do you just abandon that?
You can't just have one game plan.
Or
Do you understand that, Charlamagne? I just want you to be clear. It's much different than just being on the radio. Your jabs are different. Right now, you're being counterpunched, and you're up there looking like Martin Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? You're up here looking with knots all on your head. You think these guys go in there with one game plan? Now, one point that people are going to take from this is that they've actually witnessed Crawford abandon game plans and just dog walk his opponent like Igor Kavalauskas. It happens. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean he didn't have another game plan. He just felt like that was something that was accessible expeditiously. And he grabbed hold of it and he commenced the whooping Igor's, unlike he ever been whooped before. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that. He got the result that he wanted, but I don't think he didn't have another game plan. I just think he got to a point that he has this kill switch that when it comes on, you always tell when it's on. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with the electric company. This is something that he was born with.
Gotta have multiple.
Mhm.
You know, what happened if that one game plan don't work?
Mhm.
Then what you gonna do?
Mhm.
You're gonna be stuck in that one mode, trying to do the same thing that ain't been working for the last 10 rounds.
Mhm.
And then you're gonna be desperate and banking on a knockout, swinging for the fences, and that's how people get hurt.
When you say you fix your problems, what problems did you fix after the Gamboa fight?
I don't know.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
I ain't giving you too much.
What about dude from Lithuania? Do you feel like that was a knockdown?
No, I don't. I feel as if he pushed me. As you can see, as soon as the ref said fight, I stepped right to him.
Mhm.
Yeah, Charlemagne didn't have nothing to say about that. He said once the ref, call fight, he stepped right to him. This is typical. You have to be understanding of what setting that you're walking into. Charlemagne is always going to be the bad guy. That's his role. He embraces it, and he's definitely going to have some questions there. He don't care if they're producing notes. The only thing he wants to do is ask you the question and to get you to feel some type of way about him asking the question. Now, if you was to propose those same questions to him and kind of go a little bit more in detail, he probably couldn't give you the answer, just like Gilly the Kid. Gilly tried to present some shit out there, and then when Crawford asked him just to go a little bit deeper, he didn't know it. He just was presented the questions. There's a similarity between this interview and $1 Million Worth of Game. I understand that they don't study boxing like we do, but at the end of the day, you all are up here speaking to these boxers who are considered elite, and you all are going off guys who get information from us. You know what I'm saying? So we've heard all this shit before on the YTC, but now we're hearing you all ask the same questions. But yet, when it's time for you to go in depth about what you just asked them, the reasoning behind it, how does it compare to this fight? Y'all can't break it down. Oh, well, we have to get back to that another episode. I mean, Charlemagne the God just asking all these questions, man, and he just keep poking and prodding. Y'all remember when I told you about Ariel Helwani? All of them has the same format. In order for them to stay on the air, they have to provide some type of controversy. They need for a video to go viral. Ariel Helwani did the same exact thing when Crawford was on there. He asked him, did he like Spence? He tried to, ask him in this deceptive, monotone, low beacon of a monotone. You know what I'm saying? Seeming passive aggressive, seeming like he's a freaking kitten. He wanted to come off that he was totally innocuous, but yet he was spitting poison. Do you think it's accurate that you may dislike Spence? Do you think that's an accurate statement? No, that's not accurate. And why don't you feel it's accurate? I mean, that's what they do, man. They fire off on your ass.
He's very strong, explosive, good fighter, technical. That's a fight that you could say I wasn't listening to my coaches and my corner, and I was more emotional in that fight because I felt as if I had something to prove. I went in there looking for the knockout, so I didn't want to box. I didn't want to use my skills. I just wanted to, fight. And that's what happens when you go in there and fight the wrong fight. But
what's gonna stop you from doing that this time?
Because you can't do that again.
Because I know you want to prove yourself. I know you want to knock Earl out.
You can't. He's big. He's naturally bigger than you. He's strong.
He's the big guy.
He's about to respond to Charlemagne, who was over there just slobbing on the nobbin. That's all he was doing. He's big. He's a big guy. Oh my God. You know, that's all you hear in Charlemagne over there in the corner doing, man. You know what I'm saying? He act like Errol Spencer's a heavyweight. Come on, man. You probably you're looking at, you're taking everything that people say on this YTC and you're trying to put just a little bit of theatrics to it to make it seem like you know what you're talking about. All Crawford has to do is turn and ask him one simple question. You know what I'm saying? What weight division does he contend at? And has he missed weight? If you ask him that and he say, oh, he haven't missed weight, but what weight class he fight at again? I know he fight at welterweight, but what's the weight? That's Charlemagne. He gonna, what's the weight? 154? 160? No, it's 147. Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
Duck, dodged, walked away, and ran from nobody. Every person that the media have put and said, Terrence, you need to fight him, or Terrence, he's chasing you, I fought him. If you can go back to when I fought Derry Jean, when he was talking crazy to me, and Hank Lundy, when everybody was saying, oh, you need to fight Hank, you need to do this, you need to do that. You know, I didn't fight them all.
Well, what would be the benefit of an OG like you giving somebody like a boots a shot?
Just to satisfy the fan. Mm-hmm. That's it.
You know that was coming up because that's around their neck of the wood. I don't feel no type of way about it. You know, they're gonna, every time, at least Boots has other professionals around his area with large platforms that's willing to put his name out there. You know what I'm saying? Will they get you to fight? I don't think so, because he's really looking forward to Jamel Charlo and not you, Boots Ennis. But I don't mind it though. You have these guys mention your name, so that's a brother. That's a black fighter on the come up in his city, and these guys are mentioning his name on live on air. So what is that going to do for Boots' brand? They're going to boost his brand, expand it, provide it more exposure. I like it, but I don't think he's going to be in the ring with Terrence Crawford anytime soon in 2024.
Because he's an up and comer. He doesn't have anything to offer.
Anything to offer?
Nothing at all. But it would just be something for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just an exciting fight.
Would you ever fight Ugas again in the pros just to
Ugas?
For what?
Huh? What did he say? Bud Crawford beats Easy Route Spence. He said, would you ever fight Ugas? Ugas. And Bud Crawford's response was, for what? Look, that was after him telling you that Boots doesn't have anything to offer. Charlemagne the God, you wasn't really processing the traffic that was coming your way. You really didn't go out there with the vest on that and with the skill and the know-how to direct traffic. You just got ran over. He just told you that Boots didn't have nothing to offer. It'll just be for the people. And then you turn back around and you got scorched again. You ask him, will he fight Ugas? At this point, Ugas has nothing to offer. Why would he fight Ugas? This dude is over. He's fighting the man. He don't have to fight no more common opponents. That's over. At least we think. Because God damn it, I'm going to keep prayer. I'm going to get prayer first and foremost. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer that both of these fighters does not get injured for this fight. In his holy name, amen.
What will I be getting out of that? Right now, at this stage of my career, I'm looking for things that benefit me. Mm-hmm. When I fought Ugas, he was undefeated. He was top contender, Olympian. He had all the accolades. After I beat him, everybody was slandering him. Oh, he green machine, he this, he that. He fight a guy that nobody knows. Just because you didn't know him, that don't mean that he wasn't a good fighter. Mm-hmm. Just because you don't know him, that doesn't mean that, he deserved to be where he was because he was my mandatory.
Mhm.
Just like when I just fought Avenesian. He was ranked number 6 in the division, but everybody was mad that I took that fight because things wasn't right with the Errol Spence and my negotiation.
Mhm.
So people was mad. Can't get mad. Things didn't happen for a reason. But now we here. Everybody got the fight that they wanted. And July 29th, we're going to go out there and put on a show.
Or and Earl last fight, I think it was against you. He did get hurt a little bit, but he still stopped him in the 10th round. So you could still hurt him. You still get stopped. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I can't wait to see it though.
You going to be there?
No, I'm not gonna be there.
Come on, man. You did all that talking years ago and you ain't going to be there?
Nope, I'm gonna be watching it from home. I know how y'all guys from Omaha get down.
How we get down? All right.
I want to watch the fight in peace.
Come on, man.
You know.
But we appreciate you for joining us. When's the last time you hit a civilian?
Man, shut up,
You want to hit
man.
one right now?
Nah, we don't do that. We don't do that.
Why you doing that, man?
Just making sure.
I got all respect for Terrence Crawford. We just talking boxing. It's just like picking a sporting event. It is. We're picking the winner. That's
You
all.
said you're not sure if he can bang, how hard he can hit. I just wanted to prove
No,
it to you.
I said against Earl. It's probably 10 other people you can name. I'll pick Bud over, but it's a different type of animal. That's all I'm saying. Do you rise to the level of your competition?
Do I?
Yeah,
Have you watched my career?
absolutely.
That's your answer.
Okay.
One time, just a little jab. Just a
Man,
little
shut up.
Bam. That right there can pretty much conclude the interview. He asked the man, do you watch my career? That was pretty much the way to zip him up and toe tagging right out the door. Period. He asked another idiotic question. Do you rise to the occasion of your opposition? And all you had to do is look at his records, not only his record in the lower divisions, but what he's currently accomplished at the welterweight division. Not just what he accomplished, but how he accomplished it. How he accomplished it. We can't do away with the how. It's how he accomplished it. But you have those out there, the naysayers, the mongers that'll sit up here and listen to what I'm saying, but yet they go over there and they try to come up with these storylines as if it's nothing positive going on between these two guys. Terrence Crawford just had an amazing interview. Shout out to Team Crawford for an amazing interview of positive responses and boxing talk. These cats don't want it to be respectful. They don't want respect between these guys. They want it to be so nasty and dirty and grimy so they can get content. That is how selfish these cats are. This man gave you a superb, articulated interview with very professional responses that no one can critique unless you just want to say, well, he said this, but really he should have meant this. He said this, it should have meant this. You know, they're gonna play tennis back and forth, being little children that they are, pouting and throwing temper tantrums about certain responses that he gave. But ultimately, overall, as WCS goes, you know, I like the route that this warrior is taking. I like what Terrence Crawford is doing out here behind the mic. You know what I'm saying? To sell this fight, and it's not boring. It's not boring. He's answering the tough questions. So whoever's going to go behind the Breakfast Clubs, it's gonna be tough because you allowing him to be able to continue to know what questions are being proposed, and it gives Terrence Crawford a familiarity to make adjustments on these freaking questions. It gives him time. It gives that man time to make adjustments on these questions. So you're not going to hear him answer the same as he did on the Breakfast Club. And I don't know how many other times he's going to be doing interviews, but I'm pretty sure in between time, he's definitely, you know, on the clock and putting in that work. That shit ain't going to stop. Shout out to Sheldon on deck, man. He said this was a classic. I mean, Bud Crawford beats Easy Route Spence said this was a classic interview. I agree. Extremely classic. Not only was it classic, but it was classy. Salute to him. They're always talking about negativity and they want somebody to be at each other's throat, talking about any and everything outside of the fight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this fight gonna sell regardless, man. Everybody's talking about it, man. Like I said, when you're driving down the roadway and you see somebody pull up in a half car, they're talking about the middle half is on a single wheel because they got the modification kit. They sold half of their car, man. They sold half of their car to be able to pay for to be in Vegas that weekend. They sold half of their car. They say, fuck it. Long as I can goddamn get around with that single wheel, the breeze is a little bit, but it's summertime, I'm good. Little mosquitoes here and there, but I'm fine. Sheldon said Crawford's ability to adopt will win this fight. I've never seen Arrow have to make adjustments. And that's a good point, man. That's a solid point you make. You haven't seen him make adjustments. But to those nimble-minded individuals, they'll say, well, what is his style? I don't really know what his style is. Yeah. We see him fight the same pretty much a lot. You know what I'm saying? Come forward, pressure burst pipe, right? Pressure burst pipe, pressure burst pipes. That's all we've been hearing. Pressure burst pipe. I'm going to break him. I'm going to break him. Where did all this breaking come in at? If you have a style that's very a versatile style, right? That's very difficult to deal with. That means your opponent sees one, and he sees the other, he sees the next, and they definitely have to process the information and say, okay, how do I get past this? Just like he said, Yorkis Gamboa had fast feet. He was able to get in, get out. He had to make adjustments to slow him down, to land the punches that was effective, to immobilize him. And that's exactly what happened with Gamboa. It's exactly what happened, bro. Juice Lee on deck. What's good? Y'all thought the Arrow sections hate Bud now. Just wait until he mount the big fish on his wall. It's going to be mass casualties. It's going to be mass casualties on the night of the 29th. It's going to be just like us watching Wakanda. And when they started to play that music and those people was walking off the side of the ship, side of the Marine vessel, they were just walking out. And the lady came out, hey, you need to put earplugs in. They're doing this and that. And then, they had to throw something to break the sound because, all these people just walking off the edge and drowning. I mean, I'm not saying that's the way it's going to be, but it's going to be some type of extreme catastrophic event going on. You know what I'm saying? Something is going to happen after this is all taken care of. And we already know what that is. I need not explain it again, but the only thing I can do is show you, because it's only fitting that you totally understand who is holding the crown. I have to let you understand who's holding the crown. I'm put on a show. Watch. What does that say? What does this say right here? A fish diet, focused and dangerous. What does this say? Keep your grass cut because them snakes about to come out. There's going to be plenty of snakes leading up to this fight. But I want you to do this for me. WCS just wants you to do this. Put some respect on Crawford's name. It's not that difficult. Commend him for this interview he did with the Breakfast Club. I know people are going to sit up here and try to dissect and say, oh, he said this, he lied, he contradicted. It's just like, these individuals tell their kids to be honest, law-abiding citizen. But behind closed doors in your own home, be an absolute complete dirtbag like me, because I'm a lie the first chance I get. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being a scumbag. You know what I'm saying? All of us work together for scumbagness. You feel me? So the more scumbags we have together to promote this scumbagness, and we can sit up here and grow into a scumbag society. That's what we're trying to do. Period. That's why they continue to make up these false narratives about what they are implying that's not even close to it based off these interviews. They're not giving no compliments. They're not doing any of that shit. All they want to do is find something negative. Try to put a story out on a fighter, and it's an absolute utter lie. You know what I'm saying? It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. You know, let's keep this the way it is. Errol Spence framed on BoxRec. He's set. He's the next one. He's the official. The last victim that you see beneath that was David Avanesian, and he was terminated. Yes, I will be using the word terminated because on July 29th, Errol Spence will be terminated. He will be terminated. But ultimately, the goal is to be two-time undisputed in 2023. I initially put this up for 2022. Obviously, negotiation fell apart due to other circumstances. But really, at this moment, we already know that the hunter has already hunted and he's already reeled in that shark. But I stand corrected. Real talk, I stand corrected. I once again need to make a point to this. Okay? I don't care on who gets angry. But listen, when I made this, it's just where I was instinctively. I don't get it. I never quite got the bud. I never quite got the smoking on Bud tour, right? They said, we're going to smoke on Bud. And Bud Crawford responded, we don't smoke a drink over here. He kept it classy, right? But when I looked at this fish, I'm looking at it and I said, okay, it's purple. And, you know, I'm looking at the sharks. I don't think they're purple unless it's a technical term for them being purple. But ultimately, Errol Spence came out of his mind and said, I'm Moby Dick. Then I say, okay, we have something here. This man does not understand that Moby Dick did not have a healthy conclusion. I'm just saying at the end of the day, Moby Dick had a problem. I don't remember at the end of the chapters, Moby Dick swimming off into the sunset, doing what he wanted to do. Like, you know, throughout the book, he was just doing what the fuck he wanted to do. I think there was one point in time that, you know, Moby Dick ran into some issues. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, it just seems like Moby Dick had problems. But my whole point is that's what he said. That's what Spence said. You know what I'm saying? So really, I kind of this was like this is like shit that was predicted. Like when I made this, he said, I don't get it. A lot of people don't get it. I must have felt that he was going to call himself Moby Dick. Moby Dick isn't a shark. Who is Moby Dick? What is Moby Dick a shark? Does he look like that fool on that t-shirt? I don't know. But hey, I'm not going to promote anybody's brand except if it was Bud Crawford's. If you want to go get that shirt, go ahead and get that shirt. I just put It's Time up there. That It's Time doesn't come with it. Okay. Yeah, y'all definitely go check the merch. You know what I'm saying? Be sure to check out July 1st. Don't ever forget about that. You know what I'm saying? Jahad Tucker, Team Tucker. You know what I'm saying? Very talented. Very talented. Be sure to check him out. July 1st. I want to also let you know to check my YouTube. I just uploaded I went to another fight card today, the weigh-ins and everything out at Team Punisher, Chris Rucker Promotion, and Triller Fight Club. Triller Fight Club is there. And being that Triller was there, I waited till Paulie came in, and I was able to talk with Paulie for a little bit and ask his take. Now there's a big fan going on in there and all that, but I just, whatever they had going on, I know they had stuff. I wanted to get the interview out the way. I should have went outside, but they had something going on inside or whatever. But I was able to get his take on Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. I do enjoy listening to Paulie Malignaggi break that shit down. I know how people feel about Paulie, but one thing we do understand, he talks his boxing. I've talked boxing with Paulie on the street. You know what I'm saying? I talk boxing with Paulie in the street. I'm not breaking bread with the man. So whoever had issues with Paulie, I get it, bro. I get it. You had Paulie issues with him. I get it, man. Real talk, man. No doubt. I mean, I get it. I wasn't there for that. I was there to get, the fighters. You know what I'm saying? Do some media with the fighters. So I ended up doing media with Nico Hernandez. I'm not sure if you know who this guy was, but I do remember him. Because I used to speak about how we had somewhat of a drought in the Olympics. How Deontay Wilder was the only one in 2008, but when it came to 2012, with all these well-known names, and Errol Spence was on there too, that they didn't receive a medal, only the females, right? So you go to the 2016 Rio de Janeiro, and Nico Hernandez wins a freaking bronze medal in the light flyweight division. What's so special about this is that he redeemed the a U.S. American winning a medal at the Olympics. Not only that, for those of you who's back there when I was back there, that was the first time in the light flyweight medal. I mean, the light flyweight division that American had medals since Michael Carbajal, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, it was big for him to pick up the bronze medal in the process of him fighting for the silver medal round. He ended up suffering a cut in that round. Things didn't work out for his way, as far as him trying to get the win, because he did suffer a cut. And he was pretty much trying to fight his opponent's style, which was a tough opponent. Try to fight his style and end up getting cut. And he ended up coming up out of it with the bronze medal. But the man had a 94-5 freaking amateur career, and also he's a 6th champion. He started his professional career with 2 knockouts, and he got to a point in his time where he was shot. He had to take time away from the sport. Now he's trying to get back into the groove. Very tough fighter, high energy, got an engine on him, and he can fight his ass off. Real talk. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in the main event tomorrow. Seriously. I don't think he goes the distance, to be honest. I'm not sure, but yeah, I was able to interview him. Paulie Malignaggi. I definitely touched bases with Team Punisher. You know what I'm saying? Paul Williams. 41-2. 27 knockouts. I was able to chop it up with Paul. You know what I'm saying? James and 2 of their fighters. It's always a pleasure seeing Team Punisher go hard to go home. I attempted to ask him about Spencer Crawford, but he said, hey, whoever got it. He said he liked both fighters. Pretty much, when fighters say that, they're not giving you a prediction. So he said both of them got that dog in them. It's going to be all about who breaks who, or who pushes who back. Who pretty much who's more durable than the next. And that's what the champ gave me. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know who Paul Williams is, just look up Paul the Punisher Williams. Good dude, man. Him and his team, good people. But yeah, did the interview with Paulie, Team Punisher, Nico Hernandez. Yeah, I still have so much more to do. Come tomorrow. The fight is the Friday card. All right. So understand that. Still have stuff to edit. I dropped my video with Charles Lolo Harris. I put that out there on YouTube. I dropped my Paulie, Nico Hernandez, Soko, Steve Nelson, Put that out there. The media scrum I had with Crawford, and I'm missing a couple that I did that's out there too that I may not have posted yet. But I appreciate y'all for pulling up as always. Check out the content. Don't hit the shadows too early now. Support your boy. I need y'all to stay close, man. We got February. Look, I said February. We got July 29th, homie. We got July 29th. I need y'all to stay close. I need y'all to stay in a tactical confine. The attack units, man. I need to stay for y'all to stay in tactical formation. You know what I'm saying? We going straight up to the damn the line of departure and step over that bitch and move into enemy territory, man. July 29th is where it's at. This is where it changed anything and everything. They think they're not going to be able to talk about it. They think they're not going to talk about it. It's just going to be something that you're not going to be able to overlook when those belts change hands and Crawford becomes 2-time undisputed. You're not going to be able to change anything. You know what I'm saying? You can change your mind on if you're going to do a live today. You know what I'm saying? All that. You can change your mind on a lot of things. But those of you that I have money with, I have bets with, I hope you're on deck and you're able to pay me what you owe me. That's all. Shout out to True Me Today, USA Boxing. Salute to your coach. Y'all definitely check out Coach Fire Live today. Richard Hudson, Crawford versus Spence. Who you got and what the outcome? Well, I have definitely the Omaha Monster. If you don't know who he is, I might ask you to Google him. You know what I'm saying? The Omaha Monster. That's who I got. And the outcome, it's one of those situations where I can only give you the visual, right? It's the way you feel when you're about to go into surgery and they put you on anesthesia. Yeah, I yeah, I think it's going to be someone going to sleep, and that someone is going to be by the name of Echo Juliet. So I'm looking forward to the fight, man. True Me Today say peace to the at WCS, peace to you, coach. Pablo, what's good? Yeah, y'all definitely check out the content. I still got some slight videos to put out there from the presser, but that's where I'm at with it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll be at a fight card tomorrow up in Augusta. Just letting y'all know. It's not a heavy fight card, but the main fighters did show up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy that's down here in the A that's still grinding, undefeated. They call him Mo Millions, Morgan Grigi. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking to get that interview tomorrow. I want to do it today, but when fighters go in and weigh in, they be wanting to go get that steak, that freaking, whatever food is gonna get to get them rehydrated and feeling good. What else? What else did I forget? Was something else that I forgot? No. But yeah, I grew up with Nico. We're both from Wichita, Kansas. He is an awesome dude. Yeah, man, Nico was cool interview, bro. And you're right. He is from Wichita, Kansas. And that's why I asked him, because they do things different over there in Kansas. I said, where's your bronze medal at? He said, over at Grandma's. See, that's what I'm talking about. I know that his city did him well. You know what I'm saying? I know they took care of that young man. He's still in good spirits, man. He's a tough dude, man. He's light flyweight, man. But you can tell that motherfucker is a goddamn firecracker, though. You can tell he's an M80. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to seeing him fight in person for the first time. But I did follow him, especially when that Olympics was up. I was like, damn, can we get one now? And he just happened to earn one in the light flyweight division, which early was Michael Carbajal. Previously, Michael Carbajal in 1988. That's been a long ass time, shawty. That's been a long time. You know what I'm saying? Pablo said, you grinding hard. Salute to you. Thanks, man. Much appreciated, brother. Y'all definitely go check out the new content that I just dropped. Look, I don't go all in detail about interviews and stuff like that. I just get straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? With my interviews, people be short on time. and Ray Flores. I just slightly missed out on the interview with Ray Flores. I'm gonna try to pick him up tomorrow. He's a one take Jake. I told him, Ray Flores, get up there in front of the camera. I got the intro that him and Paulie did for this fight. He did in one freaking take, him and Paulie. One take, no cut, no nothing. Boom, boom, boom. Ray Flores, one of the best in the game, bro. One of the best in the motherfucking game. When it's talking about being behind the mic and calling, man, dude is one of the best, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I was on the road all day today. That's why I'm about to bounce off. I was on the road. I did 6 hours, man. 2 ways. Two and a half one way. You know what I'm saying? 2.5 back. Yeah. That was motherfucking 6 motherfucking hours. 5 hours. 5 hours. My bad. 5 hours. But it felt like motherfucking 6, shawty. You know what I'm saying? It felt like 6. But man, y'all hold this shit down. I gotta bounce. Turn up, tune in to World Combat Sports. Appreciate everyone who support the channel and donate to the Cash App. Much one love to you. We'll do it again tomorrow, I think. I'm out.